Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 33. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year, this is for February 2nd. The Old Testament reading is from Job 25 through 29. Job 25. Then Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, Domination and dread are with him who makes peace in his high heavens. Is there a number to his troops? And upon whom does his light not rise? Indeed, how can a human being be righteous before God? And how will he who is born of a woman be pure? Look, even the moon is not bright, and the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less for a human being who is a maggot, and a human who is a worm? Job 26. Then Job answered and said, How you have helped one who has no power! How you have assisted the arm that has no strength! How you have advised one who has no wisdom, and what sound wisdom you have made known in abundance. With whose help have you uttered words, and whose breath has come forth from you? The spirits of the dead tremble below the waters and their inhabitants. Sheol is naked before him, and there is no covering for Abaddon. He stretches out the north over emptiness. He hangs the earth over nothing. He ties up the water in its clouds, and the cloud is not torn open beneath it. He covers the face of the full moon. He spreads his cloud over it. He has described a circle on the face of the water between light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble, and they are astounded at his rebuke. By his power he stilled the sea, and by his understanding he struck down Rahab. By his breath the heavens were made clear. His hand pierced the fleeing snake. Look, these are the outer fringes of his ways, and how faint is the word that we hear of him. But who can understand the thunder of his power? Job 27. Then Job again took up his discourse and said, As God lives, he has removed my justice, and Shaddai has made my inner self bitter. For as long as my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nose, my lips surely will not speak falseness, and my tongue surely will not utter deceit. Far be it from me that I would say that you are right. Until I pass away, I will not put away from me my blamelessness. I hold fast to my righteousness, and I will not let it go. My heart will not blame any of my days. Let my enemy be like the wicked, and my opponent like the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the godless when he cuts them off, when God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry of distress when distress comes upon him? Or in Shaddai will he find delight? Will he call upon God at all times? I will teach you about God's hand. I will not conceal that which is with Shaddai. Look, you all have seen. And why in the world have you become altogether vain? This is the portion of the wicked human being with God, and they receive from Shaddai the inheritance of the ruthless. If their children multiply, it is for the sword, and his offspring do not have enough to eat. Their survivors are buried through the plague, and their widows do not weep. If he heaps up silver like the dust, and fashions clothing like the clay, he makes it ready, and the righteous will wear it, and the innocent will divide the silver. He builds his house like the moth, and like a booth that a watchman has made. He goes to bed with wealth, but he will do so no more. He opens his eyes, and it is gone. Terrors overtake him like the water. A storm wind carries him off in the night. The east wind lifts him up, and he is gone, and it sweeps him away from his place. and it hurls at him, and it has no compassion. He will quickly flee from its power. It claps its hand over him, and it hisses at him from its place. Job 28. Indeed, there is a mine for silver, and a place for gold to be refined. Iron is taken from dust, and he pours out copper from ore. He puts an end to darkness, and he searches out the farthest limits, for the ore in gloom and deep shadow. He breaks open a mine shaft away from where people dwell. Those who are forgotten by travelers, they dangle, they sway far away from human beings. As for the earth, from it comes food, but underneath it, it is turned up as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphire, and the earthen dirt has gold. It is a path a bird of prey does not know, and the black kite's eye has not seen it. Proud wild animals have not trodden it. The lion in its prime has not prowled over it. He puts his hand on the hard rock. He overturns mountains by the roots. He cuts out tunnels in the rocks, and his eye sees every treasure. He dams up rivers from their sources, and he brings secret things to the light. But from where will wisdom be found? And where in the world is the place of understanding? A human being does not know its proper value, and it is not found in the land of the living. The deep says, "It is not in me," and the sea says, "It is not with me." Refined gold cannot be gotten in its place, and silver cannot be weighed out as its price. It cannot be bought for the gold of Ophir, for precious onyx or sapphire. Gold and glass cannot be compared with it, and its substitution cannot be an ornament of refined gold. Black corals and crystal will not be mentioned, and wisdom's price is more than red corals. The topaz of Cush cannot be compared with it. It cannot be bought for pure gold. Indeed, from where does wisdom come? And where in the world is the place of understanding? It is hidden from the eyes of all living, and it is concealed from the birds of heaven. Abaddon and Death say, "We heard its rumor with our ears." God understands its way, and he knows its place. For he himself looks to the end of the earth. He sees under all the heaven. When he gave weight to the wind, and he apportioned the waters by measure, when he made a rule for the rain and a way for the thunder's lightning bolt, then he saw it and talked about it. He established it, and moreover, he explored it. And to the human beings he said, "Look, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding." Job 29. Then Job again took up his discourse and said, "Oh, that I were as in the months before, as in the days when God watched over me, when his shining lamp was over my head. By his light I walked through darkness, as when I was in the days of my prime, when God's confiding was over my house, when Shaddai was still with me, my children were all around me, when my paths were washed in sour milk, and the rock poured out streams of oil for me. At my going out the gate to the city, I secured my seat in the square. Young men saw me and stepped aside, and the aged rose up and stood. Officials refrained from talking, and they laid their hand on their mouth. The voices of nobles were hushed, and their tongue stuck to their palate. When the ear heard and commended me, and the eye saw and testified in support of me, because I saved the needy who cried for help, and I saved the orphan for whom there was no helper. The blessing of the wretched came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My justice was like a robe and a headband. I was eyes to the blind, I was feet to the lame, I was father to the poor, and I investigated the stranger's legal dispute. And I broke the evil one's jawbones, and I made his prey drop from his teeth. And I thought, I will pass away in my nest, and like the phoenix I shall multiply my days. My roots were open to water, and dew spent the night on my branches. My glory was new with me, and I was revitalized regularly. They listened to me and waited, and they kept silent for my counsel. After my word, they did not speak again, and my word dropped down like dew upon them. And they waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the spring rain. I smiled for them when they had no confidence in anything, and they did not extinguish the light from my face. I chose their way, and I sat as head, and I dwelled like a king among the troops, like one who comforts mourners. The New Testament reading is from Matthew chapter 21, verses 33 to the end of the chapter, and Matthew chapter 22, the first 14 verses. Matthew 21:33. Listen to another parable. There was a man, a master of a house, who planted a vineyard and put a fence around it, and dug a winepress in it, and built a watchtower, and leased it to tenant farmers, and went on a journey. And when the season of fruit drew near, he sent his slaves to the tenant farmers to collect his fruit. And the tenant farmers seized his slaves, one of whom they beat, and one of whom they killed, and one of whom they stoned. Again, he sent other slaves, more than the first ones, and they did the same thing to them. So finally he sent his son to them, saying, "They will respect my son." But when the tenant farmers saw the son, they said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and have his inheritance." And they seized him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Now, when the master of the vineyard arrives, what will he do to those tenant farmers? They said to him, "He will destroy those evil men completely and lease the vineyard to other tenant farmers who will give him the fruits in their season." Jesus said to them, "Have you never read in the Scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, this has become the cornerstone? This came about from the Lord, and it is marvelous in our eyes." For this reason I tell you that the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and will be given to a people who produce its fruits. And the one who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and the one on whom it falls, it will crush him. And when the chief priests and the Pharisees heard his parables, they knew that he was speaking about them. And although they wanted to arrest him, they were afraid of the crowds because they looked upon him as a prophet. Matthew 22. And continuing, Jesus spoke to them again in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man, a king, who gave a wedding celebration for his son. And he sent his slaves to summon those who had been invited to the wedding celebration, and they did not want to come. Again he sent other slaves, saying, 'Tell those who have been invited, behold, I've prepared my dinner, my oxen and fattened cattle have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding celebration.' But they paid no attention and went away, this one to his own field, that one to his business. And the others, seizing his slaves, mistreated them and killed them. And the king was angry, and he sent his troops and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. Then he said to his slaves, 'The wedding celebration is ready, but those who had been invited were not worthy. Therefore go out to the places where the roads exit the city and invite to the wedding celebration as many people as you find.' And those slaves went out into the roads and gathered everyone whom they found, both evil and good, and the wedding celebration was filled with dinner guests. But when the king came in to see the dinner guests, he saw a man there not dressed in wedding clothes. And he said to him, 'Friend, how did you come in here not having wedding clothes?' But he could say nothing. Then the king said to the servants, 'Tie him up hand and foot and throw him into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, For many are called, but few are chosen. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm 18, verses 7 through 15. Psalm 18:7. Then the earth shook and quaked, and the foundations of the mountains trembled, and they staggered because he was angry. Smoke went forth from his nose, and fire from his mouth consumed. Burning coals blazed from him. So he bowed the heavens and came down, with a thick cloud under his feet. And he mounted a cherub and flew, and he swooped down on wings of wind. He made the darkness his hiding place. All about him his covering was a darkness of waters, thick clouds. From the brightness before him his clouds passed over with hail and coals of fire. And Yahweh thundered from the heavens, and the Most High uttered his voice with hail and coals of fire. And he shot his arrows and scattered them, and many lightning bolts and routed them. Then the channels of the sea became visible, and the foundations of the world were uncovered by your rebuke, O Yahweh, by the blast of the wind of your nose. This concludes the reading for day 33. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the global outreach ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.